Welcome to this video on finding the inverse of a function, and that's what the directions are. It says to find the inverse of this function f of x equals 4x cubed plus 4. So there's 4 steps involved in finding the inverse of a function. The first step is to replace f of x with the variable y. So let's go ahead and do that first step. We're just replacing f of x with y, so then we'll have y equals 4x cubed plus 4. The second step is to interchange the y's and the x's, interchange the variables. So we'll rewrite this as x equals 4y cubed plus 4. We just interchange the variables. That was step number 2. Step number 3 is to solve for y. And why don't you go ahead and see if you can solve for y on your own, and then we'll compare answers. Go ahead and put it on pause and see what you get. Okay, welcome back. I believe what you should get for your answer is, and let's compare, I think you should end up with y equals the cube root of, let's see, the cube root of x minus 4 over 4. All of this should be underneath this radical. Okay. If you got that, very good. Move on to the next step. If not, let's go through and see if we can come up with this. Okay, so we want to solve for y. So what I like to do, you don't have to do this, but I like to put the variable that I'm solving for on the left-hand side. I think it's just out of habit, and probably I've been doing this for the same way for a long time, and there's no real reason for having the variable that we're solving for on the left-hand side, but I'm going to do that. So I'm just interchanging these two parts, putting what's on the right side on the left and vice versa. And now what we want to do is isolate for the variable that we're after. So we want to solve for y. So let's isolate for this term, which means remove this term. And so how do I get rid of the plus 4? Well, subtract 4 from both sides. So when I do that, we're not going to have any plus 4 here anymore. We'll have then 4y cubed equals x subtract 4. And now to isolate for the y, we'll want to divide both sides by 4. When we do that, the 4's will cancel out over here, and we'll end up with just y cubed equals x minus 4 divided by 4. And the final step is to then take the cube root of both sides, because we want just y. So if I take the cube root of y cubed, I get y. If I take the cube root of x minus 4 over 4, I get the cube root of x minus 4 over 4. Okay, that was step number 3. And there's only one more step. The final step is to replace this y with the notation for the inverse, which looks like this. F to the negative 1 of y, it just means the inverse, oops, not of y, of x. This just means the inverse of x is equal to, and we got the cube root of x minus 4 divided by 4. And that's your answer. So there's not much to finding the inverse. You can only find the inverse of one-to-one functions. We didn't discuss that here, but If you're asked to find the inverse of something, it's probably going to be a one-to-one function. So that's it. Hope that's easy, and I hope that's helps you out, and we'll see you next time.